Hello ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, innies, outies and in-betweeners. My name's Dan. Welcome back to another PAP Reports. It's Monday, May the 11th, 2020. Bev Hughes, Deputy Mayor of Manchester, has called for the deportation of 3 Rochdale grooming gang members who are back in town 2 years after being denied the right to stay in Britain. Her comments come after a victim said she felt violated knowing that they were still in Rochdale. She said, "I thought Theresa May had organised his deportation, so how come he's still here? I feel violated to know he's living near me, in the same area where he hunted for girls like me. It's a total betrayal of grooming victims that he's allowed to stay," she says. Kari Abdul Rauf, Abdul Aziz and Adil Khan are all still living in the town a decade after preying on girls as young as 12. The three were among 9 men convicted in 2012 of a catalogue of serious sex offences. As the only ones to have dual UK-Pakistani citizenship, they were at risk of being deported back to Pakistan, but none of them appear to have been deported or face deportation. Ms Hughes has now called on the Home Office to deport them as swiftly as possible. She said, "Their continued presence in the community will doubtless be very distressing to those affected by the appalling crimes they perpetrated. Greater Manchester should have been rid of them a long time ago. These 3 appalling individuals were all found guilty of trafficking and conspiracy to engage in sexual activity with a child in 2015. 5 years later, and more than 18 months after they all lost their appeals against their decision to strip them of their British citizenship, they remain living in our city region with no clear timeline as to when their deportation will be finalised. Only once these deportations are complete will justice finally have been fully served, and only then will the community fully be able to begin to heal." She said, "The Mayor and I have written to successive Home Secretaries, most recently only just last month, calling for assurances that the deportation of these 3 men is still a priority for the Home Office. In light of these latest revelations, we again call on government to prioritise the processing of their departure from the UK as swiftly as possible. When they are finally out of the country, it will be not a moment too soon." Father of 3, Abdul Aziz, 49, who was referred to as the master by the gang, regularly took his young victims to different flats around Rochdale. One where she was plied with cannabis and vodka and coerced into sex with men who paid him. He was jailed for 9 years in May 2012, but released in December 2015 after serving just 3 years and 7 months. Well, here's a novel idea for the police of Greater Manchester. If there is an allegation of those being denied the right to stay in Britain, then surely there's a law being broken somewhere. How about leaving people in the park alone and getting yourself onto the investigation of these scumbags? The Police Federation of England and Wales has said that police need crystal clear guidance and claimed that many people had already acted like the lockdown was over. And there was me thinking the police had common sense. That's a joke, by the way. Clearly they can't work out how to be reasonable while enforcing the law, and they need somebody to tell them. From this week, people will have some restrictions lifted, allowing the public to go out more and actually visit parks, for example, providing they adhere to social distancing. Now, I know that some people don't agree with social distancing, but most people have been doing it, barring a few, and so as far as I can see, these new so-called relaxed restrictions are literally no different from before. There wasn't anything in the law that said you couldn't go to the park, only that you couldn't be in groups of more than 2 people, and nothing's changed, apart from the fact that the government have actually said it's now okay to go to the park, which we didn't need telling in the first place, as it wasn't prohibited. John Apter, the national chairman of the Police Federation of England and Wales, said, "What we need from the Prime Minister and the government now is clear and unambiguous messaging and guidance, explaining what exactly is expected of the public so that my colleagues can do their level best to police it. Police officers will continue to do their best, but their work must be based on crystal clear guidance." That's a fucking laugh. Not loose rules that are left open to interpretation. Of course, because you hate interpreting things, do you? You know, I mean, you love working on guidance rather than the law, and now you're trying to blame the government for giving you guidance that you're saying that you can't understand. I mean, come on, get real. The Police Federation is hoping for more details on the government's guidance when Boris Johnson is set to update Parliament today. This may also include details about an increase in fines mentioned by Johnson for people who break social distancing rules. He said the public are encouraged to spend more time outdoors to exercise as of Wednesday. Mr Apter said if the message of what is expected of the public is not clear, then it will make the job of policing this legislation almost impossible. But Apter, it is clear. Go out, socially distance, no more than 2 in a group. I don't see how that's difficult to understand. I mean, yeah, okay, there is slightly more to it, but for the legislation, that's all the police really need to worry about with regards to people in public. And this is where all the confusion seems to be directed. Police in Manchester are not impressed with those said to be continuing to flout the government guidance. Greater Manchester Police attended a gathering in Eccles after dozens of people were spotted in a park. Police in Eccles warned this is not what we mean by staying at home, as pictures emerged of a group of people in a local park congregating and drinking at the weekend. Greater Manchester Police Eccles posted a picture of the group in the park on Facebook, saying there's a minority of people who are continuing to flout the government guidance and put everybody's loved ones at risk. It's simple, they say. Stay home, protect the NHS and save lives. Police in Eccles said they have been trying to deal with gatherings, but with only 2 officers, they have been forced to prioritise other incidents as a variety of reports were made over the weekend. Now, I find myself wondering if the police attended with the intention of shaming people on social media, whether they attended with the intention of sending everyone home from the gathering, or whether they attended and explained that providing that they keep their distance from one another, which they could easily do, then there isn't a problem. The problem, from what I can see, is the police turning up on most occasions and ordering people to go home, speaking down to people, trying to shame and embarrass people, making them feel guilty, which simply does nothing for public relations. You know, give people the advice. It's okay, folks, not here to send you home. In fact, we've got no powers to send you home, but unfortunately, legislation says you can't be in groups of more than 2. But you can be around others if you're 2 metres apart. So do me a favour, spread out if you can and stay there. And you can stay here. I only have the power to deal with people breaching the group rules, and if you spread out, I won't have to, and you can enjoy yourself. It's not that difficult. Now, as most of you are probably already aware, footage of a man being tasered in a petrol station in Stretford, Manchester appeared over the weekend. An incident which has since been referred to the IOPC to no doubt sweep under the carpet. Well, it seems that people in the area are certainly not happy with the way this guy was treated, as anti-racism protesters arrived at the scene to protest the force and action taken against Desmond Ziggy Mombayarara, and to question whether he would have been treated differently if he was white. Well, I know these situations are different, but tasers are drawn, so I don't think that they're that different in that respect. But check this short video out. Think about that question about whether we would have been treated differently. In fact, I think I have to say the cops in the following clip were very restrained considering what they were faced with. Okay, now let me be perfectly clear. I personally do not think it's a racism thing. I genuinely don't. Yes, of course there are racists out there, but I don't think this is a racist thing. I think it's more the fact that some police simply can't contain their adrenaline their testosterone, whatever you want to call it. You know, there are police that would have tasered the kids in that last clip, and there are cops that wouldn't have tasered the black dude. And I think it's being used as something to allow people to do a little bit of virtue signalling. This whole "it's about us being black" nonsense does nothing more than contribute to racism. Everyone's lives matter. It makes no difference what colour your skin is or where you're from. I would never go to a Black Lives Matter event, nor would I go to a White Lives Matter event, because it wouldn't be allowed. I simply don't care about sticking up for one group of people over another. Everybody has rights, the same rights, and everybody should be treated equally by the police and by everybody else. Besides, why is nobody talking about the poor kid who had to witness this all? That kid is going to grow up hating the police. No doubt he's going to suffer from some mental scarring from the incident, but yet there doesn't seem to be anybody mentioning any of that. And staying on the subject of 34-year-old Desmond Ziggy Mombayararara, he appeared at Manchester Magistrates Court on Friday, where he admitted speeding, being in charge of a motor vehicle whilst unfit through drink, using a motor vehicle without insurance, and being outside without reasonable excuse during the lockdown. I'm not sure how he was outside without a reasonable excuse. He was in a petrol station. Could have been getting supplies. It's allowed, you know. Mombayararara of Thelwall Road, Sale, pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of obstructing and resisting a constable in the execution of duty. And I think the video shows there was no resisting. It's very difficult to move your arms behind your back after a 50,000 volt charge, as all your muscles have tensed up. The hearing was adjourned ahead of a case management hearing on July 31st. Mr Mombayararara was granted unconditional bail. An interim driving disqualification was also imposed. Adjourning the case, District Judge Jack McGarver said there could be a trial in relation to the charges. Superintendent Mark Kenny added, "We are aware of public concern regarding this arrest, and I want to reassure the public that this matter is being reviewed and treated seriously." A Coventry police constable was being hailed a hero after evacuating a family from their home as a vehicle fire threatened to set their home on fire. The family were completely unaware their car was fully alight on the drive at the side of their house and was apparently minutes from tearing through their home in Wildcroft Road, Coventry. PC Sean King was driving past when he saw the fire on his way home after his late shift when he spotted the smoke. King called for the fire brigade before evacuating one family, including children aged 15, 13 and 11 who were staying with grandparents, and then raised the alarm of neighbours and got them all to safety. The fire brigade said the fire was minutes from setting the eaves of the roof alight. West Midlands Police said the city centre neighbourhood officer, who has worked for the force for 11 years, was hailed a lifesaver for rescuing the family. He has since been nominated for a Bravery Award for his actions. A wanted man trying to escape from Nottinghamshire police blew his cover in spectacular fashion. Police were executing a warrant at an address in Harworth on Thursday when a wanted man made off. Police pursued the man into some woods near Brookside Walk. While looking for the man in the dark, they heard a noise, believed to be the sound of someone farting from a nearby bush, said a force spokesperson. One of the pursuing officers said, "I was almost out of wind. Luckily, the suspect still had some." I heard him let him rip and followed the noise to a bush. Another man was found hiding in a small space behind a fireplace at the address. The 35-year-old man was arrested and for failing to appear at court, and a 30-year-old man was arrested in relation to other matters, police said. A Police Scotland constable caused an evacuation of a police station in Bells Hill after pouring 5 litres of petrol down a drain. Police had to not only evacuate the building but also call Scottish Water, the Fire Service and the Scottish Environment Protection Agency. A source from Police Scotland said, "Police seized 5 litres of fuel following a willful fire-raising incident." I believe that's arson. Instead of disposing all of it properly, an officer poured it down the drain in the men's showers, resulting in a full shutdown and closure of the police office, with the Fire Service, Scottish Environment Protection Agency and the Health and Safety Executive attending. It settled in a broken drain under the office. The smell became unbearable with fumes, and the fire brigade and Scottish Water had to be informed. Chief Inspector James Gillespie confirmed the incident and said the officers involved quickly recognised their actions were wrong and inappropriate and have been given advice. What a clown. A big thank you to the channel Patreon supporters. Your support is truly appreciated. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. Until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.
Good night, all.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.